from the man who sold the world.
Can you hear me? Are you having difficulty speaking? Can you move your head? Just, just nod if you can hear me. How do you feel now? Can you speak? Looks like we've got one of those spatial patients again. Now then, please try to relax. There is plenty of time. I need to tell you something. Please listen and try not to panic. You've been in a coma for quite some time. Yes, I know. You would like to know how long? I'm afraid it's been 9 hours.
Huh?
Please try to limit the glue wine from now on, and you should be fine. Your bill will be $15,000. Nurse! Nurse, help me! Help me! Nurse! Nurse!
I'm never drinking again. That's for sure. Shit, son. The holiday cheer is literally killing me. But you know what always makes me feel better? Free video games! You see, every year me and a bunch of friends have a secret Santa in which we send each other free video games. And what do you know? I managed to score myself 2 this year, so while I'm waiting for the glue wine to leave my system, let's go and check out and see what awesome hidden games we receive. Metal Gear Solid. Oh boy, a Metal Gear parody. Well, this ought to be fun. Metal Gear is one of the most famous franchises in the history of video games. And its creator Hideo Kojima is hands down the single most famous game designer who has ever lived. Well, that's equally because he's a genius and because he likes to slap his name on absolutely every fucking thing he was ever involved in. While Kojima was also created other games besides Metal Gear, such as Zone of the Enders and the critically underrated Snatcher, the tactical espionage action showcasing the adventures of Solid Snake and Big Boss is still his most famous creation by far. While stealth elements have been utilized in previous titles, such as Wolfenstein 3D, it was Metal Gear that first built an entire game around avoiding your enemies and remaining unseen. And with each new installment, Kojima pushed the envelope even further. Metal Gear Solid set the standards of how all video games should present the story. Metal Gear Solid 2 is largely considered to be the first post-modern video game ever made. Metal Gear Solid 3 took stealth elements and elevated it to a whole new level by adding survival elements to the mix, and Metal Gear Solid 4 did something? I don't know.
Did you like it?
No, Kojima? I did not like it. The storyline of Metal Gear has always been incredibly convoluted and confused, with Metal Gear Solid 4 just bringing the ridiculousness to an unseen level, unprecedented so far, to the point where Metal Gear Solid 5, despite being stellar in terms of stealth gameplay, had practically no plot whatsoever. And if I'm to be honest, beyond the basics, I've just kind of completely lost the ball when it comes to Metal Gear. That's why I decided to bring an expert. Raiden, can you hear me?
Oh, hey, Aftermath!
Raiden, you like Metal Gear, right?
Close in the name!
Awesome. Well, would you like to help me out with this review of Metal Gear Solid?
As soon as I finish listening to my latest audiobook from audible.com. Audible.com is the world's leading provider of audiobooks with over...
We aren't sponsored, Raiden.
What?
We aren't sponsored.
Everyone on YouTube is sponsored by either Audible or Loot Crate. Like, you got to do Loot Crate, I want to do Audible. I love Audible.
Just do the Christmas Metal Gear review, Raiden. Ah, he'll get over it. Considering just how mind-numbingly popular Metal Gear is, it's really not surprised that a fair amount of fan games popped out that seek to pay homage to the franchise. One of the most popular one is Arthur Lee's Metal Gear Solid: Secret Santa, which puts a bit of a Christmas spirit into the game. So without further ado, let's see what it's all about. Alright. Let's see what all the commotion is all about. Let's see. Secret Nazi laboratory, access codes. No, that's not supposed to be here. 9/11 was fake proof. I still need to release that to WikiLeaks. Human trafficking operations in Hamburg. Well, that's disgusting. Who is doing such a thing? Also not supposed to be here. Luffy Fox Girls. Makes every single day better, no matter how bad it is. Real Kennedy killer proof. Haven't investigated that in a while. Also not supposed to be here. Reasons to live? Wow, alright, that's a little bit empty. Anyway, here's Metal Gear, let's extract it. Alright, let's see what all the fuss is all about. Metal Gear, here we go. Ha! Whoa! Jesus, what the hell is this game supposed to be? Is this like a game for ants? Oh wow, ugh, disgusting. This game was certainly not fine-tuned for full HD or 4K resolutions at all. Raiden, how does it look for you?
Well, it runs on full screen on my laptop, but even so, there's no denying that the resolution is balls.
I mean, it's not like I can blame the developer for it. Since it's a very old game, it's not even supposed to run on Windows 7, yet alone Windows 10. But still, it always sucks when you find an older game that's not properly supported for modern systems and display. Oh well, here's hoping that at least the gameplay makes up for it. The game places you in the role of Santa Claus, who needs to sneak unseen deep into enemy territory. And by enemy territory, I of course mean an apartment building full of naughty kids that want to catch a glimpse of Santa. His goal is to get to the roof of the building and place all the presents under the tree, which, of course, isn't as easy as it sounds. The wacky plotlines and political undertones of Metal Gear make a return here, with mentions of increased air traffic control and security after 9/11, which forces Santa to go onto foot into a full-on tactical espionage operation. It would have been so easy to just reskin a typical Metal Gear game and add Christmas hats to the enemy or some stupid shit like that, but instead, Arthur Lee somehow managed to create an entirely new game, which feels like Metal Gear in every way while being fundamentally about Christmas. And I have to say, a big part of the reason for that comes from the voice acting, which is just pitch perfect. I mean, listen to what happens when you get caught.
Mommy, does Santa exist? No? Santa Claus!
That is some next level shit right there. And what about the guy that plays Santa? He's a dead ringer for Snake. In fairness, it's not like the typical Snake voice is all that difficult to do. I mean, it's really one of those famous video game voices that everyone and their mother has made fun of because everyone can do it. I'm Solid Snake, and this is my favorite show on Shadow Moses Island.
No!
Raiden.
I will not make fun of David Hayter. I forbid it. The man is a voice acting genius, even though he's not really even a voice actor to begin with. He's a scriptwriter first and foremost, but that doesn't matter because he still manages to put so much nuance into each one of his performances. Oh yeah, everybody knows the script, the Solid Snake voice. Oh yeah, but now there is no such thing as a Solid Snake voice because there is a different Snake voice in each and every one of the games. Like, compare the voice of Big Boss from Metal Gear Solid 3 and Peace Walker, and also the end of Peace Walker, which takes place years later. They're completely different performances because the character of Big Boss is at different stages of his life. And similarly, compare the character of Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid 1 and Metal Gear Solid 4, and where they're just like two completely different performances because of how many changes the character has undergone. Just even a deaf man can hear all of these changes. No, I'm getting so tired of David Hayter not getting all the respect he deserves. So you are going to respect David Hayter, because God knows Kojima sure as fuck doesn't.
Raiden, do you need a hug?
Not as much as David Hayter does.
Story aside, the game is actually an homage to the very first games in the Metal Gear franchise, before it went a solid 3D on us. You observe everything from a bird-eyes isometric view, and you're supposed to sneak past the kids in your way without being spotted. However, unlike in the original games where you had a bit of room for error, here you need to be absolutely precise, since being spotted results in an immediate game over. The problem is the controls, while okay for the most part, rarely allow for that sort of precision. When you let go of the directional key, you don't stop where you are, you keep going for another step or two, which can be incredibly frustrating. On top of that, you're limited by the fact that you can't use any lethal weapons, which I guess makes sense considering the fact that your opponents are all a bunch of same looking kids, but it just makes the game that much harder than it needs to be. Besides, it's not like anybody's going to miss identical looking twin number 76. One of the most fun part of any Metal Gear game has always been the gadgets that you can use in order to sneak past areas. I mean, you have got the trademark cardboard box, the cigarettes that relax your aim and help you spot lasers, and this thing? Yeah, that thing right there. And I'm happy to say that for the most part, Metal Gear Solid has managed to keep the tradition. The cigarettes have been replaced with a candy cane, which helps you to see lasers with the power of believing. And instead of a tranquilizer gun, you now have a Nerf gun, which I guess makes sense. Additionally, you also got a camera that you can set as a trap, which stuns everyone that looks in it or approaches it. And you have a cardboard box that has been replaced by a present box, which... Am I the only one that sees a problem with this? I mean, the purpose of the cardboard box in the game is to ensure that the enemy ignores it, but why would a whole bunch of kids ignore a present box? I mean, seriously, that is literally the only reason why they are there. I mean, it makes no fucking sense.
Okay, why are you so focused on the negative when Metal Gear Solid actually gives you one of the best powers in Metal Gear's history? The power of psychokinesis.
Is that a Bane mask?
I did not have a gas mask.
Stop that, you're ruining my theme.
You have merely adopted the gear. I was born in it.
Honestly, all things considered, the gameplay is kind of simplistic. Metal Gear has always been a series about giving you lots of options when it comes to sneaking about. Hell, Metal Gear Solid 5 was practically built on player freedom and little else. But Metal Gear Solid only gives you pretty much just a single possible way to solve your problems. And that's it. It's less of a stealth game and more of a puzzle game with very specific, calculated solutions. Which I guess is understandable given its nature as a free game, but still a little bit disappointing. Sadly, the linearity of the experience is just one of two big problems that I have with Metal Gear Solid, the other being that you can't skip the cutscenes. And do not get me wrong, the cutscenes are fun. Like I said before, the story is extremely adorable and filled with fun references and Easter eggs, most of which were funny to even someone like me who is not all that familiar with Metal Gear. For example, your commanding officer is named Major Tom, which is a triple reference to Tiny Tom from A Christmas Carol, David Bowie's Space Oddity, which has always been a big influence on Kojima games, and also Metal Gear Solid 3, where your commander's first codename is Major Tom. And, of course, just like in Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, there is a mysterious secret person that calls you from time to time to help you with information and aid you in your... I'll get to that later. Like I was saying, the story is great, but much like in Metal Gear, the cutscenes just go for way too long and are way too talkative. When I was doing second playthrough in order to capture footage, the cutscenes just felt grating and annoying, and considering the fact that it's so easy to implement the skip function in most engines, there's no excuse here. The only recent game I think of where you couldn't skip the cutscenes are Telltale titles, oh, and also so-called David Cage games. And I'm using that definition very loosely because I think it's been scientifically proven that anything David Cage makes is a fucking piece of shit burnt on a disc and not a single person on Earth likes. Hello? Okay, fine. Hello?
Hi there.
Right. I thought for sure this was going to be some kind of mysterious caller who'd give me information about my review and then get exposed as someone completely unexpected in a twist at the end.
Nope, it's just me.
So, why did you call me?
I don't think I called you. I guess I must have butt dialed you.
Raiden?
Yes?
Are you rubbing David Cage games all over your naked body again?
Of course not! It feels so right!
We spoke about this, Raiden!
Judge me!
But honestly, I can't judge the game too harshly. Sure, the story can get a bit overbearing, the lack of precision is a pretty big problem, and the fact that you can only solve levels in exactly one way sucks balls, but honestly, it's a game that you get for free, no strings attached. And you know what? Sure, it does a few things wrong, but it does also many more things right. The voice acting is impeccable, the humor and atmosphere really works, the mechanics are on point. It sets out to be a Christmas Metal Gear title, and I'll be damned if it doesn't do exactly that. If the premise sounds interesting to you, then I definitely recommend it, especially since you can beat it in about half an hour. But it wouldn't be a proper Metal Gear title if it didn't have an even more convoluted sequel now with it. Enter Metal Gear Solid 2, The Ghost of Christmas Past. Metal Gear Solid 2 is everything that a proper sequel needs to be. It is bigger, it is better, has more gadgets, more levels, it expands the story and yet still retains the humor and charm of the previous games. The controls are more precise, the resolution actually works on my screen and you can skip the cutscenes. Well, almost, except for the first one. It's like Arthur Lee listened to every single complaint the audience had about the first game and just perfected the sequel to a point where it's damn near flawless. I haven't seen such an improvement in a series since Assassin's Creed 1 and 2. The game takes place 3 years after Metal Gear Solid. At this time you play as Solid Snake who needs to infiltrate Outer Saven Mall in order to steal Santa's head from a bunch of naughty children. Whoever controls the head controls all of the children in the world, or something like that. I wasn't quite paying attention, instead I was trying to figure out what Outer Saven Mall was a reference to. Huh, if only there was someone out there who could tell me. Raiden, buddy, come on, that's your cue. Raiden? Raiden! Raiden! I need your expertise! Raiden, 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 Raiden.
What?
Jesus! Any idea what Outer Saven Mall is a reference to?
No bloody clue, mate.
Did you just turn British?
Oh.
Alrighty almighty. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about Metal Gear Solid 2 because honestly the fundamentals are the same. You still need to sneak past a whole bunch of identical kids in order to progress through a ridiculous Christmas narrative. The devil, as always, lies in the details, and all of the tiny little changes that have been made to improve the experience. For example, this time you can move in any direction you want rather than just up, down, left, right, which makes the controls as precise as they need to be for this type of game. You've got a radar in the top right corner, much like in the first MGS game, which shows the enemies and their fields of vision so you can plan your infiltration carefully without running into the side of an enemy you couldn't see because he was off screen. Sure, you're still getting game over if you get spotted, but you are now better equipped to handle the game's difficulty. In addition, the voice acting has improved, and the kids now actually sound like kids instead of like an adult doing a terrible boy impression. And believe it or not, there's even little girls enemies in addition to the little boy enemies. Hooray for getting the equality! But probably my favorite new addition to this games are the boss fights, which are just, oh boy, they are delicious. Seriously, there's 2 boss fights in this game and you really need to think outside the box for both of them. I'm going to ahead and spoil the first one just to give you an idea of the brilliance, but if you don't want to have it spoiled and would like to experience it for yourself, click the annotation right here somewhere and skip to the next section. The boss fight against the Ghost of Christmas Present happens relatively early in the game, and the guy is basically a milkman made out of milk that throws bottles of milk at you. All your weapons are completely useless against him since you can't even reach the guy. But how can you possibly beat him if you can't touch him? Well, how do you beat someone who is literally made out of milk? You let him spoil, of course. All you need to do to defeat him is minimize the game, go into your calendar, set the date a few weeks later, and watch the fucker burn. This is some Psycho Mantis level of brilliance right here. I love it. Welcome back. But one thing I'm most definitely not going to spoil is the ending, which just lays out plot twist after plot twist after plot twist after plot twist after plot twist. It's amazing, and just serves to completely round out what is already a fantastic package. Is the game perfect? Not quite, but for a free game made mostly by one man, it sure as hell comes pretty damn close. I wholeheartedly recommend it to anyone that's interested in Metal Gear, and while the second game is way superior to the first one, the 2 form a complete package, and the story works very well together. So if you got an hour or 2 to spare this holiday season, go check out Metal Gear Solid. I'll put a link to the developer's website in the description, because he definitely could use all the support he can get. Come on, Arthur, it's been 6 years since you announced Metal Gear Solid 3. Where's my game at?
I'm afraid you shall never have it, Aftermath.
Raiden, what are you talking about?
You fool! Have you still not figured it out? Huh, I am not surprised. You've always had a rather simple mind.
Oh my god. Hey, that is a really awesome t-shirt, Raiden. Fits the team perfectly and nicely, very well done. Absolutely good choice in t-shirts. Seriously, should have told me where to get one, I would have gotten one too.
Dude, I'm not Raiden. I'm Asif Artington, your first subscriber.
Doesn't quite ring a bell. Did you just make this up?
Oh, I've been in your videos for months now.
Oh yeah. Why do you look exactly like Raiden?
An incredibly long story that I'm sure will get explored in future story arcs.
And what happened to your voice? You used to be like a little whiny bitch, and now you're British.
My voice hurt my throat.
And where the fuck is Raiden anyway?
Enough questions! Thank you for playing Metal Gear Solid Aftermath. By inserting the disc into your computer, you have installed malware that has given me complete access to your YouTube channel.
Malware? Aussie, you sent me this game?
Indeed, I have played you like a damn fiddle, you fool. And now say goodbye to your channel for me.
Aussie, stop. Wait, you can't do this. You stop! Well, shit, there goes my hobby. Now, what am I supposed to do during the holidays? From the man who sold the world. Ah, what the fuck. I don't have anything better to do. Might as well play the other Secret Santa game I got. From the man who sold the world. A shitty game!